With the new Hazbin Hotel trading cards that were released recently, we have a lot more to discuss in terms of lore, particularly when it comes to angels, as the cards revealed two new characters to us named Sarah and Emily, as well as a whole bunch of other background angels in some of the cards. So today, we're going to be doing a big angelic breakdown, but real quick, if you want to see me unbox those cards, we put a video out over on our other channel, Random Universe. Use the link in the pinned comment down below, or click the pop-up at the end of the video. Now, angels are perhaps the most mysterious entities in the Helluverse. While Helluva Boss was able to really elaborate on the natures of demons and their hierarchies with the many species and demonic princes of the various rings, Hazbin Hotel seemed set on always telling a story about angels and their conflicts with the demons. Lucifer is of course well known to be a fallen angel, though in many schools of thought, all demons are considered to be either fallen angels or the offspring of fallen angels. That being said, the same isn't necessarily true in Hazbin Hotel or Helluva Boss, where the creators have stated that Lucifer is definitely a fallen angel, but that the other princes may have origins in hell, with it not being something for us to theorize on so much, as the writers not having to decide that detail quite yet, but perhaps sometime down the road when it becomes relevant to the plot in some way. In addition to Lucifer, we have Charlie, who is partially an angel on her father's side, and outranks the rest of Hell because of the access she has to angelic magics, alongside her mother Lilith, though she isn't considered an angel by extension as far as I understand it. In the trailer, we got a close-up of what looks like a new angel, who also seems to appear in the trading card game as Sarah. In addition to her, there was another card simply named Emily, who looks like Sarah, so I'm assuming they are related in some way, though they appear to be the same angelic species, which may all be related either way. Additionally, we got a card that showed a variety of different angels that I want to talk about as well. We also have the cherubs from Helluva Boss, and in the background of the commercial, they even might have an Ophanum. To start with Lucifer, Lucifer is the king of all of hell, ruling over the Pride Ring in particular and the earthborn sinners there. While he has some sort of authority over hell and massive physical power, he generally lets the other rings act as their own distinct territories, with hell's courts even siding with Mammon over Lucifer over an issue of trademark infringement. The name Lucifer comes from the Latin Vulgate translation of the Bible in the 4th century AD, where the passage of Isaiah 14 talked of Hellel ben Shahar, or Dawn, son of morning. This was a reference to Venus, the morning star, as Venus rises before the sun and disappears as the sun comes up over the horizon, blocking Venus with its intense light. Many cultures saw Venus thus as the child of the sun, or as an entity that carried the sun behind it, or even just as a messenger for the sun, a star that rose early to signal that the sun itself was about to come. One such example is Rome, which called Venus Lucifer, or Lightbringer. This was not the Venus of their religious pantheon, but something closer to what we'd think of as a fairy tale using the emotions of Venus as its foundation. In Isaiah 14, however, the Hellel ben Shahar was portrayed in a negative light, being used to help describe a king of Babylon who had fallen from grace by trying to outshine the sun by rising before it, having prided itself before the sun. Now, before the Latin Vulgate translation of the Bible, this Hellel ben Shahar had already been believed by the Greeks who studied the Jewish Old Testament to be a reference to a mythological figure in Israel's past. While many mythologies contain something of an internal canon with its characters, Judaism is unique in that the Old Testament was a compilation of different stories from different eras of their culture. For the book of Genesis in particular, this meant that the same stories were being retold with different symbols, with each story giving a different perspective on the same historical idea, all of these stories being the tradition of what we today call the fallen angels. Lucifer was adapted by Christians as a symbol for the entire tribe of the sons of God. These figures are only briefly mentioned in the book of Genesis as part of the story of Noah's Ark and the Great Flood. The sons of God were expanded upon in the book of Enoch, which was not in the Old Testament, but a later text found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. In this text, it was explained that these sons of God were divine beings sent down to earth to guide humans to a better future, and teach them great wisdoms that would help them foster healthy civilizations. These sons of God are known for rebelling against their mission, however, and took human wives, which gives birth to a race of giants known as Nephilim, who were mentioned alongside the sons of God in the book of Genesis with very little explanation as well. They would also give forbidden teachings to the humans, and for this, the angels were cast into the earth, or what we think of today as hell. Now, as I said, when you examine these primeval texts of Jewish mythology, you tend to find it's the same story over and over again, but told with different symbols and metaphors. Enoch's story of fallen angels giving divine and forbidden knowledge to humans, particularly through their wives, mirrors the story of the Garden of Eden, where the serpent tricks the humans, particularly Eve, into eating the fruit of forbidden knowledge. Lucifer is said to outright be the serpent in Christian tradition, and we find similar parallels in later Jewish tradition as well. The Book of Enoch portrays the angels as a tribe with multiple names being given for the different sons of God, including the leader named Samyaza. The much later Jewish text, the Zohar, however, would claim that the leader of the fallen angels was named Samael, who is used in this and other Jewish texts very similarly as Lucifer, as a singular angelic entity that can represent the entire tribe of fallen angels. In the Zohar, Samael is said to have gone into the Garden of Eden by riding upon the serpent, and then convinced Eve to eat the forbidden fruit. This ties Lucifer to the serpent in the Garden of Eden, something we see with his serpent imagery in the show. In the text, Lilith is also described as being Adam's first wife, who ends up running away from the Garden of Eden to live with Samael in Hell, becoming the mother of demons, explaining why Lucifer is married to Lilith in Hazbin Hotel. In the Christian tradition, Lucifer is equated with the serpent, and as such, they often classify him as a seraphim, which in Hebrew translates as burning ones, but was used to describe serpent-like beings in the Bible. When Lucifer was given his redesigned artwork in the show, many fans noticed that he was sitting on a throne of eyes that looked like it had 6 wings, which is an alternate description of those seraphim. In the trailer, we got a confirmation of his 6 wings, making it almost certain that Lucifer is a seraphim, but interestingly, that also seems to be the case with Sarah, and perhaps also Emily. Sarah seems to be short for seraphim, and she seems to be rather extravagant with her big eyelashes and giant crown. Emily looks a lot like Sarah, and with the diversity we can now see that the angels have outside of the Exorcist, it seems obvious that they are related, or at the very least, both seraphs. Lucifer looks different now outside of his 6 wings because he was banished to hell and now has a demonic form while he resides there. Now, in the show, royals like Stolas can be murdered and hurt by angelic weapons, but according to the Helluverse crew, Lucifer is too powerful for an angelic weapon to work on him, and he can only be smited by an angel of greater power. Seraphs are generally considered the highest ranking of the angels, though this can vary from one source to the next. So that would likely mean that Sarah is one of, if not the only angel that could smite Lucifer. Someone had to have banished Lucifer to hell, of course, and while that could technically be God, there's been a lot of theories that he isn't even around, and that the angels are just at the wheel driving this crazy operation on their own. Emily looks a lot less intense than Sarah overall, very soft, and I imagine that Lucifer outranks her, but Sarah with her crazy eyes in the trailer I imagine to be the big powerful figure that is holding all of heaven and hell structure together. Many fans have noted that she might have similarities to the character Adina from Vivziepop's previous comic, Zoophobia. While this was mostly about furries hanging out at a hidden high school, she had plans for a later arc that would make use of its hell location that was meant to feature the cast of Hazbin Hotel. At some point, Vivziepop realized that they should be their own characters in their own show, and she would change a lot of the lore to accommodate new ideas she had for a very similar conflict in Hazbin Hotel. Like in Hazbin Hotel, the Hell of Zoophobia had characters who felt like they were being not just unreasonably punished, but unfairly punished when other souls had done much worse things than them in life. The Hazbin Hotel crew, Charlie included, was a group of sinners who were trying to escape hell and seemingly fight back against heaven, particularly an angel named Adina and her demon hunters. Adina didn't get that much screen time in the few comic strips Vivziepop put out, but what we saw of her was very composed, even as she is torturing Angel and manifesting visions of his sins and death on Earth. While doing this, she just smiles and insists that all sinners deserve to suffer. What little we see of Sarah in the trailer shows her forcing a smile as fire is in her eyes, looking like she's actually struggling to maintain her composure, different from Adina, who seems to always remain calm, but having a similar nature of acting like everything is okay when things clearly are not. In addition to Sarah and Emily, the trading cards came with a card called Winners, which showcased a few different angels in a heavenly location. The 2 in the front are the easiest to see, but also the most generic, looking like simple humans turned angels, though the one on the left is a bit more cherub looking and has heart antenna. I imagine the girl on the right to be an actual human-turned-angel, similar to the exorcists who, aside from Adam, are all female descendants of his, though because of their job, they tend to be more monochromatic in their designs, it seems. Cherubs, meanwhile, are presented in the show as low-level natives of heaven, akin to the cute babies seen in later art, mixed with animal features, as opposed to the more monstrous depictions of cherubs in the Bible as beasts with different animal heads. Returning to the winner's card, in the background we have a flying bird-looking angel who actually looks a lot like a member of the Ars Goetia, particularly one of Stella's friends we see at her party with her, in my opinion. The 72 demons of the Ars Goetia are said to parallel existing Jewish traditions of 72 angels, and seeing an angelic Ars Goetia counterpart explored in Hazbin Hotel specifically would be really cool, but it may just be a typical bird theme unrelated to them. Deeper in the background on the right, we see 3 more animalistic-looking angels, one kind of bird-like as well, and another looking more like a fox or tiger, and a really short one just barely visible, still bird-like to me, but can't really be certain. Finally, on the left side, we have an interesting angel that looks like a humanoid version of an Ophanim. Opha means wheel, so Ophanim is a group of wheels, or wheels within wheels, often being portrayed as rotating wheels with eyes and wings in artwork. In this case, the wheels revolve around a single-eyed head, which itself has wings, and looks very cool, calling into question if this giant wheel with points we see in heaven is an angelic being at all, or just a background decoration in the Cherub commercial, as many fans theorize that this would be a more biblically accurate Ophanim within the show. This is everything we know about angels in Hazbin Hotel so far. Let me know what cool stuff you learned today in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more Helluverse breakdowns, and check out some of our content on our other channel, Random Universe.